Welcome to TrueProp's Instagram Live series. We've got a special one for you today. We're actually live in person here in Dover, New Hampshire, with Larry from AccuTech Propeller. And we're really excited to show you his prop press system, which uses the Linden arm and TrueProp software. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Larry and let him give us a little introduction, tell us about his shop and how he got started and what he can do.
Thanks, Adam, and welcome. We started this back in 2001, and it all started, people say, well, how'd you get in the prop business? And it came about by buying a boat. And we found out that the boat vibrated pretty bad. It was a 38-foot sport fishing boat, brand new, twin diesels, and it vibrated. And the dealer couldn't explain why. They said, you got diesels, so live with it. So we chartered the boat and ran it for a year, and the second year we owned it, we christened it on some rocks. And from that point on, we had a lot more vibration problems. We had new props put on and everything else, and still had vibration problems. And nobody could explain it until I made a phone call. I got on the internet, and up comes PropScan. And the 800 number I called, and the guy on the other end of the phone, Terry Ryan, who developed the PropScan, spent about an hour and a half on the phone with me, telling me why my original props had vibrated and why the brand new props vibrated. So the only PropScan shop around was down in Rhode Island, so I took the props down there. They tuned them up, we put them back on the boat. To make a long story short, for the first time that boat tracked straight down the Piscataqua River, speed went up 15%, fuel consumption dropped 10%, and no vibration.
Yeah, pretty long story.
Everything that Terry told me in Australia came true. So I called him back to congratulate him, and he said, well, why don't you open a PropScan shop? Nobody's doing what we're doing up there. And I said, I'm a financial guy. What do I know about props? He said, you're perfect, no bad habits. Send me $40,000 and come to Australia for 3 weeks. And when you set up your shop, you'll be doing something that nobody else is doing. So I wasn't looking to start another business, but it was intriguing and it worked.
And how long ago was that?
2001.
2001. So you've been in business for 21 years already.
This is our 22nd year.
Congratulations. Yeah. Congratulations.
So the fun part about that trip was it was September 21st, 2001 that I'm on a flight to Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
And remember, September 11 was a little bit of a rocky day.
Yeah.
So it was great traveling because there was nobody in the airports. So I'm on a Qantas flight, 747. Once we got airborne, they moved us all from coach up to first class, so we're eating steak and drinking champagne all the way to Sydney and back.
Yeah.
It was a great time. But anyway, we came back, set up the shop, opened up November 1st, 2001. We've been going gangbusters since. We continued to grow. We moved to this shop, I want to say maybe about, it's got to be 14 years ago now.
Yeah.
And we started off with about a 1,500 square foot shop, and now we're at a 5,000 square foot shop. We could use another 2,000 square feet, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll go into the shop in a minute. Absolutely a beautiful shop here, very clean, tidy, and you guys are really in for a treat. So after you started with the PropScan, you also acquired the Hale MRI.
Yeah.
You got a balancing machine, and then most recently you've got the Prop Press 500, 360?
360.
With the 60-inch scan arm from Linden Propeller.
Exactly.
And
of course the TrueProp software.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a couple of years after we opened the shop. We heard about the MRI, so I bought one, and so we were running both the PropScan and the MRI using both technologies. And one machine had some pluses and minuses, and so did the other one, but we were able to use them back and forth and do the job that needed to be done. It was just recently that we added the prop press back in April, actually, and went to the TrueProp software with that platform.
And so now you kind of advertise that you guys have all three capabilities.
Right.
So when your customers come in here and they bring in a damaged propeller, like something like this, you guys talk to them pretty in depth, find out what they're looking for the repair, and then go about it in there. And then why don't you show us a little bit about your reports that you are providing to the end customer?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. One of the things when I was growing up as a kid in New Jersey, and long time ago, Anyway, there was a guy on the radio by the name of Cy Sims. He had a clothing store, and his tagline was that an informed consumer is our best customer, and that has stayed with me ever since I was in the 9th grade, and I've carried that through with all my businesses. So one of the things that we like to do is to inform our customers, spend a lot of time with them. We like to bring them into the shop. We like to show them what we do, demonstrate the equipment, and when we work on their props, we do provide a packet of information for them so that they have all the data on their prop. And that packet of information includes, I just happen to have some TrueProp scans here. We provide both the before and the after scans to the customer and explain what they are when they pick up their props. And we just don't provide a one-page report. We want to provide all the data, whether it's the prop scan or the MRI or the TrueProp. We want the customer to have all the data, not just a one-pager that doesn't tell you the whole story.
Yeah, and you want them to come away understanding kind of at least the basics of what that information means.
To the degree that they want to learn it. But, you know, again, an informed consumer works out very well.
Yeah.
We also give them some other information about how to install the propellers, and the most important thing after we work on the prop is that we want to know how the prop's running. So we do provide a sea trial worksheet with all of our work. And with this, and we encourage our customers to give us a call back and to send that sheet back. That way we can help them to get a better understanding of how their boat's running and give them a better boating experience.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's always, we always encourage people to make the round trip as well. You know, it's great to get some feedback, and unfortunately, you know, sometimes we don't hear from the customer. Usually, no news is good news. And
Sometimes
when it's not working, you hear right away.
Yeah.
Well, great. Anything else you want to add before maybe we jump back there?
Yeah, we'll jump back there. Yeah, so obviously we're a prop shop, so we sell new props. We're a distributor for all the major brands, and we repair them, of course. We modify them. We use the Hydrocomp software to help itemize that. Guard dog.
Keeping us safe.
We use the Prop Expert to help people get a better running propeller, or if they're doing a repower or so on. And we've been using that since probably 2003, I think, is when I first hooked up with Don to put that software in here. We also manufacture shafting. We have all CNC equipment, and we're the OEM for several major boat builders with that. So yeah, if you want, we can go back into the shop and
sure, let's
show
go back
everybody
there and
what's
take a
going
look.
on.
Do you go first, or after you?
Follow me. So, if you want, we can give you a real quick tour. This is all of our machining equipment here. We have a CNC lathe for turning the shafts. We have some other CNC capability over in that corner. We do use the 3 technological platforms, the prop scan, the MRI, and the TrueProp. And each one has its strengths in certain ways, and we can certainly discuss that as we go through. Okay. So for those that are not all that familiar with the prop scan, that's our prop scan machine there. One of the pluses to that machine is that we can put large diameter propellers on it. We can do the IPS props and the Zeus drive props due to the fixturing. We don't have to use arbors, special arbors. The MRI over there uses arbors. We could retrofit it. That machine is good for doing smaller props also. And of course, our pride and joy is the Prop Press 360, utilizing the scan arm and of course the TrueProp software. We have our welding area back in the corner over there. We use all computerized TIG equipment. We do have a dynamic balancer that we put in, and that way we can fine-tune the propellers on their balancing. And Of course, the back room over there is our grinding room, so we try to keep some of the dirt out of the rest of the shop.
Yeah, again, beautiful, clean shop in here. Really a treat to be here.
So if you like, this is really what we need to look at is the prop press and the TrueProp. So if you want, I can take and mount a prop on there, show you how that
Yeah,
goes on.
let's get into it.
Actually, I have a prop here. This one here was damaged pretty badly on the tips. We've done some straightening on it. The tips were actually curled more than 90 degrees. We've straightened about the best we can. At this point, we can use the prop press to take and straighten them even further. But part of the repair process on this prop is we have to take 3.5 inches of pitch out of the propeller. This is a 29-inch diameter NIGO propeller. It's a cambered propeller, variable pitch distribution. We found with prop press, it's escaped. So let's put it on the machine and see what we can do with it.
So this machine from Linden Propeller can actually take propellers up to 44 inches. The propellers are going to slide right onto these specific arbors. There's arbors for each particular bore. And the nice part about these arbors is it allows you to not only stand the propeller here in place, but it allows you to work on it, whether you're using the hydraulics that are integrated into the press, or if you're using hammers and kind of fine-tuning things. So all the work gets done right here. This will be the first time that we'll load the propeller on, and then we'll sit here and run it. It's nice to have that overhead crane so you're not lifting.
I like wireless.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Okay, so you can see how easily that is to mount on the prop press. At this point, we'll just put the hold down nut on. So there's several controls on either side of the machine. One locks and unlocks the propeller to the machine. In the unlocked position, you can take and rotate it so that you can do the scanning, or positioning it for the rams. Once it's positioned where you want it, you can lock it down. Prop isn't going anywhere. The other button is for locking down the hydraulic ram controls, which we'll use in a few minutes. What I'm going to do first is just do a scan. Now, I'm not going to do the whole prop. It'll take too long. So I'm going to scan the 0.5 radius, just so you can see how we set it up on the software. And then we can talk about how we utilize the software and the rams to do a pitch change. So the first thing I'll do is set up the arm. And the nice thing about this, Gary's developed a nice counterbalance system to move this heavy arm. It also gives you some...
Yeah, we got the chin. Yep. How much do you think the arm weighs, roughly?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Never weighed it.
It's not, it's a kind of an awkward thing to wield around, so it's nice to have that flyaway jib.
Yep. As you can see, the arm does mount on the center line of the propeller, and it will turn so that the scanning can take place. So what we'll do is we'll just do a quick setup here as a new job. So in using the software, and I'm still learning how to use a lot of these little features of the software, but we'll hit new, And then what we're going to do, it pulls up a box that asks you for the new project. And you can put in the customer's name. We're just going to put in test for now. And then it's going to ask you how many blades. Well, in this case, we have 5 blades. So we can come down, put 5 blades in. The rotation is a right hand. You could use the pull down and use either right or left rotation. Choose right. The diameter of this propeller is 29 inches. And the current marked pitch is 36 inches. That's all we need to do. We accept it. The rest of this screen, you can fill in the vessel name. You can put in the boat, the prop manufacturer, model, serial number, material, and so on. We would normally fill all that out. You can put in the inspector's name. You can put in notes, both customer notes and shop notes, as to if it's damaged or whatever else you're going to be doing to the prop. Once all that data is in, then you would go to the scan button up here. And that brings up this screen. And we would go over here and we would add a scan. So the box tells us to position the arm on blade 1.
Hey Larry, is that a left-hand prop?
You're absolutely right.
I could go in and set it up if you want.
Okay, you want to change that?
Yeah, sure. Drop that back there.
I was thinking of the other prop which we did the other day.
You just finished the right hand, right?
Yeah. So we want left hand. Okay.
Here we go.
Now we're going in the right direction. Okay. So we're on add a scan, and you'll notice the little radar arm there moves with relationship to the arm here. So you want to position it about halfway in the blade, and you want to make sure that the scan arm is all the way against the stop in this position here. And then all you do is you hit the button, and it aligns the radar screen vertically. Now what I can do is come down. I'm going to move this out until the box on the screen, I'm going to start at the 0.5 radius and lock it in there. And you can see on the screen there where we are. Now, we are at the 0.5 radius, and now all I'm going to do is scan from the trailing edge to the leading edge. So I'll hit the button, bring it down to the leading edge, hit the button again, that's recorded. I'll go to blade 2 and do exactly the same thing.
And so the software is just continuously tracking, and when he presses the button, it basically starts to record that measurement line. And we'll go through and finish all 5 blades with the radius here. And it looks like it's coming in about 36 inches down here in the root.
Okay. So we've just scanned the 0.5 radius, and from a time standpoint, that's all I'm going to do at this point. And we can go to check button up here. And what this is going to do is show us the pitch of each radii that we just scanned. And these are running at almost 36 inches of pitch, which is what's marked on the propeller. But again, this is a variable pitch distribution. So typically when you're recording pitch on a variable pitch, it's either done at the 0.6 or 7 radii. So we're already set here. Then we can go to our reference here, and it'll automatically create a reference data. And I'm going to do a section average here. And we're going to want to do a class 1 propeller. So we move it to class 1. And there's our class 1 box right there. And you'll see that it does meet class 1 as far as your bars go. So what I want to do at this point is I'm going to do a pitch change so you can see how we set up the rams for that. And I'm just going to pitch change to 0.5. We're eventually going to repitch the entire propeller, but only after we do the repairs here. So what I'll do, one of the things that I do want to do, and I think I'll do that on the next scan.
Actually, looks pretty clean here as far as locals and stuff on in the
It
roof.
looks very clean, yeah.
So whoever's prop this is, they must have really just damaged the tips, and you know, there's probably some more damage here, but as we get into the blade, it's so thick it doesn't really move too easily.
Okay, so
Unless
what
you
we're
have
going to
decent
do
rollers.
is, we want to take 3.5 inches of pitch, and normally we don't go that far, but in this case, in this particular propeller, with the prop press, we can do it quite easily. So I'm going to start on blade 1, and I'm going to work on just the 0.5 radius. So what I want to do is position, we want to take pitch out, so I'm going to position the upper ram right about here, and I'm going to position the lower ram right about here on the bottom. And that will, when we move the rams, it'll actually twist the propeller blade back, and you'll be able to see that.
We're going to flatten it out just a little bit to take
Yeah.
some pitch out.
So,
Now, without the hydraulics, you'd be taking this off the table over to one of the workstations, grabbing a hammer, maybe some heat. But this allows you to work everything right from here.
Yep, yep. And the trouble is using heat in through here, it does change the metallurgy a bit, so we don't like using heat if we don't have to use it. Out on the tips, we would use heat to straighten these, but that's not as critical as it is in this area here. So we'll take, and we'll basically position this where I want it. And the nice thing about this is we ordered it with a wireless control, which I really love. So I'm going to bring the bottom ram up. And just get a rough position of where I want to be with that bottom ram.
You can get right into the root of the blade there. Wow.
Oh yeah, you'll get right in there. And at this point, I'm going to take and lock that sliding arm. This way, when the force of the ram hits it, it won't slide in a horizontal position or change where it wants to be.
And do you lock down the prop for this part, or do you position the rams first and kind of?
I just want to get a basic position to get my bottom ram in there, and I want to position it so that I can get as flat a push on the blade as possible with the head. But I can lock it from here because I'm about where I want to be. Right about there. So I'm going to lock the prop down. I'm going to lock right there. The upper ram. Bring in. And this, we'll move over. Actually, I want to reposition this a little bit. That.
And so you're going to set this ram up for this blade, but basically the next blades will be kind of the same positions, and you can recreate
Exactly,
it.
and the nice thing is, once it is set up, I just have to rotate the propeller and get every blade.
Yeah, and you can just retract the rams right out of the way,
Yep,
and
exactly.
that is very cool.
Just get this one readjusted a little bit. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock the rams. These cylinders up here lock the rams so that they can't move. And now I'm ready to start my repitch. Now there's some gauges on the back and mark top cylinder and bottom cylinder. And once we start moving the metal, we can use those gauges to replicate on each blade to get a good approximation of the pitch. So let's move this down over here.
So you're pushing on each blade with the same force.
Exactly. And then I'll bring this one up. All right, now, you'll be able to see this blade actually move, and the hardest work I'm going to do is use my thumb. So let's try this and see what happens. So I'm going to bring down the top one a little bit, and I'm going to bring the bottom one up a little bit. And I'm just going to work it evenly.
Jonas, if you come over here, you can actually see this bottom blade moving up here.
Okay. And I'll let it sit there for a couple seconds just so that the metal can normalize a little bit under pressure. It's nitrile. Nitrile does have a springiness to it. Okay. So now we can take the pressure off. And let's do a scan of just that one blade and see where we are.
Yeah. Back to our scan button here, and we will add a scan, and again we'll reposition and then we'll come out to our 0.5. And so this radius is actually tracking that position of the carriage there, and when it gets to where we're supposed to be, there's a little tolerance box that's popping up. That's what those beeps are in the background.
The beeps are very helpful because that way you don't have to keep your eye on the screen when you're doing this. What did we get there?
It says 32.8.
Darn close to the 32.5 I wanted.
Yeah, so did you use the kind of similar pressures to when you were working the right-hand wheel?
Yes,
Is that
I
how
did.
you kind of had a feel for that? Well, that's pretty awesome. So we should be seeing one blade at 32, and then the other 4 blades will still be at 36. You can see just quite how far he moved this blade one in a second here.
Now, one of the things I will do, if I keep working on this propeller, which is a really nice feature of this, is I'm going to move this all the way back in. And there's a little button here that says save angle and get angle. I'm going to position this right on the trailing edge of blade 1, and then I'm going to hit save angle. Now, once I do that, I can remove this arm, make an adjustment on the propeller, put the arm back on, I hit my get angle, and I don't have to rescan again. And I can do that for any radii that's already scanned in. Really nice feature. And let's check it and see what it looks like. Oh yeah. See, this came right down. And we are at 32.625 inches of pitch on blade 1. So I just have to tweak it a little bit to get it to the 32.5 inches that I want.
That's pretty impressive.
And how long did that take to do?
I mean, one push and you took 2.5 inches out of the prop, and I'm sure it's not just that inner radius, but because he started so far in the root, the rest of that blade also moved. So instead of a lot of guys will have to work kind of progressively, but here we're actually starting with the biggest push in the middle, and then we'll fine tune that on the way out.
And the equipment is robust enough to take a prop this size, and we've done larger props. We did a 30-inch diameter 4-bladed prop with a 5-inch repitch. We were doing a test on it,
wow,
just to see what the machine could do. A 5-inch repitch in less than half an hour to class 1.
So have you kind of found the upper limit for this as far as what doesn't move, or?
Not yet.
Not yet. Good to know.
And we haven't broken the machine yet.
Yeah, that's great.
But this machine is absolutely incredible. Gary and his family have done a tremendous job designing it. It is professionally built. I've had engineers in here looking at this, and they're just amazed at the quality. I mean, just all the little details, even down to a little thing like this, which is helpful to remove the prop from the tapered shaft. They thought about everything,
And this enables you to basically work this prop yourself. You don't have to, rely on other people to kind of back up hammer blows or anything like that. Or
well, the other
one
thing,
guy heating and another guy, twisting.
well, yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, the old way of doing it on this big table here, yes, we had some hydraulics, but it was cumbersome. It'd take a long time to set up, and the cylinders had a tendency to slip. It was very dangerous. This is compact. One table does it all, and it saves wear and tear on the technician. The other nice thing that it does too, which you will notice here, no hammer mark dents to grind out. So it will also save on grinding materials, grinding time, and the amount of material that actually gets removed from the propeller.
Not to mention you can tackle some of these larger repitches that maybe you would have said, no, we can't really bring it that far, or you really need a new prop. Here you can actually make these movements. Really impressive.
And the other thing too is saving props. We've taken some props where a blade has been knocked out of angular position quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to get it back in. With this machine, we're able to move it right back in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, that is something that TrueProp does pick up, will be spacing issues. And so, some of the other software, you may just not see it. So the prop comes in, it's, class 1, class S. Sometimes on our software, we're actually able to pick up those, if it's more than a degree out of alignment. And those are really tough repairs to do. I mean, a lot of times it hasn't been picked up on, so the prop's probably been living like that since it was manufactured. But this enables you to kind of get sideways and actually move things in ways you wouldn't move them before.
We've picked up tracking errors and things that were very easy to correct using the prop press and of course the TrueProp software. If you want, I can show some other screens on here.
Yeah, sure. If you want to use this one, or you want to do some of the
other
other scans.
I'm going to go to another scan here, and let's go to project and let's open.
And when did you get the prop press system? Earlier this year, right?
We got it in April.
Yeah, April. So
Yeah.
looks like
So I'm just
you've
gonna
got
save
over
this.
100 scans in here.
Oh, we've
now,
got we've got a number of them that we've done, but let's just take a look at the right-handed prop. I know which one that is now. So, thank you for pointing that out.
Well,
Anyway.
we might get there and it not scan. So
Yeah,
I was
right.
like,
I've done that.
Yeah.
So on this prop, we're looking at the final scan on this, but the nice thing is this screen gives us an overview and will tell us where a quick view of what is out of tolerance. This is the before scan, and you can see on the trailing edge here, there's not enough pitch on blade 2, but it gives us a really quick reference as to what needs to be repaired. We can go into our radius locals where we can zoom in on that, and we can actually see, like on this one, where it's out of tolerance, and it's just a matter of correcting that.
Yeah, so it's
very easy to
targeting
see.
like a 39 here, and we're only measuring up at like a 37.
Right. And looking at the outline, the nice thing here is you can see your chord lines, how they stack up. And we found some, if you're out of angular position, you'll see that chord line right out. And using the prop press, we can bring that right back in. We have had a couple of props where they've gone to repair centers, been repaired before, and they've ground blades short on the leading edges.
Yeah.
Instead of welding them up and rebuilding them, they actually grind them back. So we would have them out of tolerance here on your leading edges or trailing edges, but this one's pretty good on our shape. We can look at path. This is our tracking. this is beautiful because I'm able to, even though we can see tracking on the MRI, we can correct it here a lot easier.
Oh, yeah, with the hydraulics, and
hydraulics.
able to push things up and
Yep.
down.
And then, of course, we can get into the sum and differences with the local pitches, and that's the fine tuning of the propeller to give the optimum performance.
Yeah, so we're just seeing a few little issues here on the trailing edge. Same thing we
Right.
saw on the top
But
view.
we can go down to each radii and take a look at each radii and each blade just by clicking on it. So again, very intuitive software, very easy to use. And you guys have taken the best of the prop scan, the best of the MRI with your own ideas and wrapped it into one software platform that I think is
Yeah,
really the best.
So, and which screens on here are you using the most? Are you using that top
I
quad
would
a
use
lot?
the top, after I initially scan, I look at the top, it'll give me an idea of my average pitches here, but it'll tell me where I have to make corrections here. And then I would go to pitch, and I would take a look at my pitches here, and I would see that I would want to tighten up some of these pitches, especially.
Yeah, right at the
two
tip there.
here.
That's not too surprising.
And well, the tip was what was damaged
Yeah,
mostly
yeah.
on this particular prop. And then I would go to my radius locals, so I could actually see, on this case, the trailing edge. If we go back, I'm just going to flip it back here to the top. So blade 2, what we see on blade 2 here is what we see on blade 2 here. So I can visualize what has to be moved.
Yep. And obviously, coming from different backgrounds, what you've used in the past, you're used to certain screens, and so we've really tried to incorporate, the views that people are used to seeing, that are used to working from, into our software here to kind of make it almost like a superset of what's out there. And so you're working on the prop here, you're generating your check screens, you get your initial scan, your final scan, and then can also access all that data in the front office too, right?
Right. It's all networked, so on my desk or my assistant's desk, they can take the front office scans for the customer. I can take a look at them. If I have a technician working on something here, I can take a look at it. Makes it very convenient.
Oh, that's great.
And then, of course, you guys have added some other features in here, which are really nice, which we're just starting to learn to use. You've added the repair cost estimate, which is a nice feature.
Yep.
You've also added the pitch correction utility, which is sort of like a mini, prop expert.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one here, which is pitch by RPM, which is really nice. We can put in the trial RPM, the target RPM, and our mean pitch, and it'll tell us where we need to repitch it to get the RPMs.
And that's kind of how you came up with some of these recommendations for like the lower pitch reduction. Well, that's great. Yeah, the estimate tools are something that's pretty new. Again, those estimates, you can kind of customize those for your shop and your prices. And this quick pitch calculation tool is actually something we just got back from Las Vegas presenting. So for those of you who went to the NMPA show, you probably got to see a little bit of that. It's already in the software here, so if you're a TrueProp user, you do have access to that kind of stuff. Great. This has been, that was a really cool demo to show that repitching. So you basically got to do the rest of those blades and then scan it up, and then it'll be probably out of here in, 20 minutes to an hour. Bagged and tagged and sent out. Well, good. Really appreciate all your time. Anything else you want to show us? Any parting wisdoms you want to give us before we wrap up? And
Just what I learned here, and I said earlier, an informed consumer is your best customer.
Absolutely.
They keep coming back and coming back. And, the customer really is our employer.
yeah, absolutely. We all work for the customer in the end.
Yep.
And, we want to give you guys the tools to make sure that you guys are successful with your customers. And likewise on our end, we're always receptive to feedback from all the shops that are using TrueProp or are interested in TrueProp on how we can make the tools better to help you guys. So, reach out to us with any comments, feedback. If you're interested, contact us. we'll be happy to talk to you about, you know, your specific shop setup and what's going on and how we can help. And can't thank AccuTech and Larry here enough for inviting us into his shop, actually going through and doing the demo. And you know, it's really a treat for us to have these guys right down the road. We love working with them, work really closely with you guys. So.
Yeah, we've done a number of projects.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, one of my favorites was that ghost props.
That was one of our favorites.
So
Yeah.
cool. They're actually on display in Portsmouth now.
I know,
It's
our
really cool.
props are sitting right there.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. We got our own little monument now, AccuTech and hydroprops.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway.
Oh yeah. So to wrap up, we want to present you guys with a beautiful plaque, a token of our appreciation for participating in this the Instagram series. And
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. And if anybody has the TrueProp or the prop press, you know, they're welcome, or anybody considering it, give us a call. We're happy to walk you through it.
Oh, that's what-
Hopefully give you a few tips and hints that we find
Yeah.
as we go along.
That's excellent. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you, Larry.
You're welcome.